Okay, we're back. What we've done to this point is taken all the legs, the tabletop, the crossbeam, and the rim, and we've scuffed them. We made sure that we dulled them up a little bit, got a nice coat of the topping off of there a little bit. Again, we didn't go too deep. You don't want to scratch all the way into the wood because then you got to start over again with the stain. Took the wet cloth, wiped them down, took the dry cloth, dried them off. It's a little cold in the garage, but I'm going to be moving these pieces inside as I do them. One thing that I noticed and that I wanted to alert you to is this. Sometimes on that first coat, a piece of dust or something, especially on flat surfaces, will land in there. When you're scuffing, keep an eye out for that so that you know, okay, I got to get rid of that and kind of buff it down the same way that you buff down a drip. Shook the armor seal, poured ourselves probably about half as much as we did the first time, because again, you're not going to have as much resistance because it's not going to be on wood. It's going to be on what's left of that first layer of top coat. And the second thing is you're not going to be blotting. Fresh new brush. I know that sometimes when you're working and it's nice and hot and stuff is fast, the first brush is still damp. Mine was, but at this point, you've put all this time, all this energy, all this effort into it. Do you really want to screw the whole thing up over 75 cents? Probably not. So get yourself a fresh brush. Again, these nice firm poly brushes with a nice little feel to them. So we're going to grab a leg here and we're going to work our way on through it. Again, very light. You don't want to get too much on that brush, but you do want to be able to have enough so that you can gloss. Now you'll notice that I'm working a lot more quickly simply because the slide of this is so much easier. I'm not picking up any crud. You can kind of see that brush is a lot cleaner than the first brush was, and I'm just kind of chucking through this thing as I go. So it's going to go by a lot faster, but again, don't rush. You want to make sure that you're getting everything so that you don't miss it. If you see a spot that you missed, stop and go back. If you start to notice that the brush is running dry, again, little bitty dip, little bitty scrape. You're not painting like you're trying to cover the graffiti on the side of the garage or something here. You're not trying to haul a can of paint someplace and defend your sister's honor. You're just trying to get enough of this on there so that it will kind of cover over that first coat. And again, using that side of that brush as kind of both a drying and kind of a pickup for any kind of wayward drips or drops is a good idea. So again, when you start to see on the leg that you're covering enough, you'll know, because it's going to start to brighten up again. This is actually one of the nicer coats to do because you start to see all of the grain. Again, you start to see the fruits of your hard work, really, which is kind of nice to say, okay, I'm finally getting close. But again, you got to stay concentrated. You got to stay focused on what it is that you're doing. Because you don't want to do that. The last coat, usually is fun, but there are two things. One is there's that paranoid streak in you which says, oh God, did I leave a drip? Now it's stuck there. Well, it's not really stuck there if you don't want it to be. You can always do an extra coat. This stuff goes on up to like 4, sometimes 5 coats. I don't like to go more than 4 if I have to. 3 is the optimum level for me because it provides protection while still giving you the nice wooden look. But if you need an extra coat, if something happened or some drip really got bad on you and you can't get rid of it and it's bugging you, don't feel bad about going after something with an extra coat. It's not the end of the world, but like I said, that's why the second coat is kind of the most fun. You're kind of feeling that little giddiness that says I'm getting there, I'm really getting there, and you know what it's going to look like when it's done. I mean, pretty much the uglies are over, the hard parts, the dirty, the dusty. This is Some people say they don't like to stain or they don't like to top coat. I love staining and I love top coating because it's like the reward for all the work that you've done. You get to kind of finally now say, all right, I'm getting my happy place here, you know, as Bob Ross used to say. You know, again, flip her over, make sure that you're getting, especially when the leg bulbs down at the bottom, because you're going to notice that, you know, if you don't get all the way down on the bottom, it's going to, you know, kind of look goofy. Not like anybody's crawling around on your floor looking at it, but here's the thing, you'll know, and knowing is sometimes the worst part of it, when you know that there's something wrong, and everyone's like, oh, it's so beautiful. Everyone always tells me that when they see stuff, you know, not always, but mostly, like, oh, it's so beautiful, and I'm like, all I can see are the flaws, really. So you're gonna make sure that you get everything. Again, nice side brush, especially down the long rails, because you don't want, that's where they tend to build, because there's more stain, there's more gloss there rather, so it can pretty easily pick up. Also, right on corners and edges, a lot of stuff likes to sit in there. So I like to take this and kind of go around the edge a little bit and make sure that I've got everything. So again, that went by a lot more quickly. Oh, there we go. That's why you put it in a light. You can see that little spot right there. Touch that up. Okay, and again, you kind of go through it with the light, make sure that you didn't miss anything, make sure that nothing's really wrong with it. Oh, missed a little bit at the top here. And again, just being a little persistent kind of helps. So there you go. Now you got your second coat on, and this one's getting close to ready to go. I'm going to finish up the other legs, and I'm going to do the tabletop, and then probably we'll see you for the third coat, which is kind of the exciting coat. Or maybe we'll just go all the way down to when we finish up, because this is pretty much the same practice each time you do it. Have a good one. We'll see you next time.